Hey, we are back on the Scrambling and Rambling podcast. I'm your host, Greg, with my co host, Becca. We are here every couple of weeks. We're still figuring it out. It's new, but we love the growth. We love to see more and more of you out there checking us out. And we want to tell the stories that you love to hear. We focus on the outdoors, we focus on the arts around Denver, Colorado, and all over the West, especially. And we want to tell your story too. So feel free to email us on that. Becca is back with another friend today. Becca, who are we talking to today?
Yay! Well, I wrote an intro, a little
Always
short
write
one.
the intro. You're so prepared.
I am prepared. He's a journalist, editor, rock climber, hiker, runner, and dog dad. He's Kai Burkhardt. Hello, Kai. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Welcome,
Thank you for
Kai.
joining us. It was a pretty short intro, but I wonder first if there was anything I missed. What are some descriptors perhaps I missed, or if I got any wrong?
I think emphasis on the dog dad. I take dog dadding very seriously these days. But yeah, I mean, I think you nailed all the important aspects.
Good, good. Okay, yeah, let's just jump in. This isn't the order I was planning on going in, but because you brought up your dogs, we have to talk about your dogs.
Yes, of course.
Let's talk about your dogs. Tell us their names, tell us about your two pups.
Yeah, so we have two. Me and my partner have two dogs. Our first dog we got while we still lived in New York. Her name is Miso. She's a border collie mix, and we got her from a rescue in New York. And immediately she hated New York. She hated all the cars and the noises, and she was a very reactive dog. So after spending thousands of dollars with local expensive New York City Brooklyn dog trainers, the problem got she got slightly better, but then the big improvement was when we moved to Boulder and she got to see more than like 2 by 2 square foot patches of grass at a time and got to
Oh,
see a tree and like had space to herself to relax. So yeah, she is about to turn 6 now, and then we also have our other dog Dashi. She's a rough collie. She is a show dog. She is an agility dog. She does all sorts of dog sports. She is my partner's pride and joy. Like Jay's whole life revolves around Dashi and showing her and doing dog sports and all that sort of stuff.
yeah, and they're pretty outdoorsy dogs, right? You take them on adventures.
Yeah, Dashi went dispersed camping in Moab when she was like 4 months old, maybe younger than that. So that was eventful, especially when she's a puppy. It's like the second the sun rises and like it's light in the tent, she's stomping all over us and like licking our face, and she's like, "What the hell are we doing? Like, come on, guys, the lights out." Miso, on the other hand, is super chill, and I take her climbing with me. I take her hiking and running with me, and she's very like sneaky athletic. Like she'll spend the entire day on the couch or like in her crate. She's basically, I always joke like she's a very active stuffed animal or throw pillow. But you get her outside and she's a beast. Like she has run like 9 miles with me right off the couch. We went bouldering in Boulder Canyon last week, and I didn't know that I was gonna have to cross a river. So I brought her, and then we had to cross a river, and she was like like threading the needle, hopping rocks, like traversing over logs. So she's sneaky athletic.
Do you think
No,
she could be a, sorry, Greg, do you,
no, go ahead. Go
do
ahead.
you think she could be a show dog too? Or like is it called a show dog when they're doing like the agility courses and stuff?
So agility and show is two different things. So
Okay.
agility is the obstacle course, and
Yeah.
you have to go over the jumps and through the tunnels and everything. Showing most often refers to conformation, which is when you have a dog of a certain breed and you run them around in a circle in front of the judge, and then the judge examines them. And basically, it's called conformation because the judge is deciding how much your dog conforms to the breed standard. So, how good of a collie
Ah,
is this, and that sort of stuff. So since Miso is a mixed breed, she can't do the conformation, but she could do agility and other dog sports if she wanted to.
So you mentioned that you go climbing with Miso. Like, is she in a pack on your back, or is she just right next to you going up? Bouldering, obviously, she can pick her way, but are you going like vertical climbing with her, like strapped on or with a harness or something?
Yeah, most of the time she's not going up the actual wall with me. Although I have seen a lot of outdoorsy folks, especially like over in Utah with dogs. They'll go like canyoneering with their dogs, and they
Mm-hmm.
have this whole harness build out. So when you rappel down a cliff in a canyon, you can also rappel with your dog. I don't know if Miso would like it, but I kind of want to do it with her. It seems really cool. Um, but most of the adventures that me and Miso go on, yeah, it's just like the approach hike is the quote unquote strenuous part for her, where she's hopping around, and then once we get to the climb, whether it's bouldering or ropes, um, I'll often bring like a little sit pad or a dog bed, or if I don't need all my crash pads, I'll just let her lay on a crash pad, and then she just basically sits down and takes a nap. She's like
Nice.
the 10-minute approach hike was enough. And it was funny last when I was bouldering with her, it was in the evening, so it started to get colder. And you know, this is another thing you have to think about when you're going on adventures with your dog, like, oh yeah, I have to pack water, I have to pack snacks, but you also have to pack the extra stuff for your dog. So I've learned more and more like what stuff I need to bring to make sure she stays comfortable as well. But yeah, when I was climbing, the sun went down and it wasn't too cold, but it was really windy. So I looked over to her, and she was on her dog bed, and she was wearing her sweater, but she was a little bit cold. But I
Mm,
brought an extra jacket, so I just wrapped her up in the jacket, and
nice.
the sun went down, so it was dark, so I had one of the light up collars around her neck. So every 5 minutes I would like look back, and she was just asleep wrapped in my jacket, and I could see like
Nice.
Oh,
the little light poking out. It was so cute.
oh my goodness.
Do you use the booties, or do you use the wax? Like, how are you protecting the feet in
Yeah,
the Colorado?
so this is actually uh, good for a good topic of conversation for me so specifically, because I'll tell a story where I didn't prepare enough. Is when I went backpacking with her earlier this past summer. Um, One thing that I now consider a lot more is like thinking about the terrain that you're actually hiking on. So we did a pretty short trip in Indian Peaks Wilderness. We just did the High Lonesome Loop. So it's 16 miles. Lots of people run it, but I can't do that. And Miso probably could, but I can't. So we backpacked it, and once we were backpacking, we were like, you know what? We have to get the permits and all this sort of stuff. Like, let's just make it a 2-night thing. It'll be super chill. So we did like 5 miles the first day, like 3 miles the second day, and then the last six the third day or whatever. But the last day we were hiking, and as we were getting close to the trailhead, it was like hot. And then you know that first stretch of trail from the Hesse trailhead is kind of like a 4x4 road. It's a lot of
Yeah.
Mhm.
rocks and stuff. Um, so by the end of once we got back to the trailhead, she was walking real slow, and I was like, oh, she might just be hot. She was carrying her own backpack, so the last like half mile we took it off her, and I was carrying the backpack. And once we got back to the trailhead, because I knew we were close, she wasn't gonna like die or anything. Like she was doing good, but she was still going slow, and we could tell that she's normally like wanting to run ahead of us. So we could tell that she was getting tired or something like that. And then once we got back to the car, I checked her paws, and she had slipped like multiple of her the
Oof.
pads on her paws.
Oh.
So yeah, I like it's a reminder to me, because also when you're backpacking, you're like, oh, you want to keep everything super light, but a
Right.
thing of paw balm or like some booties to help protect, it's not going to add that much weight. And if something like that does happen, it's easy to throw those on like mid hike. So I used to use boots with Miso a lot, and then I kind of tailored it back. But now I'm taking a much more like case by case approach and being like, okay, if we're like hiking up in the Alpine and there's a lot of those like sharp rocks and stuff, let's pull over and throw those on. And also in the winter, they're great to prevent like the snowballs getting stuck in the hair between their paws.
Right.
But yeah, at this point, I found a like pretty lightweight pair that I like, so I just keep them in my bag all the time just in case.
Just so you know, I will also be very tired if I ever try to hike 16 miles. Like, I'm just going to, it has nothing to do with the pads. I'm just out. Like, count me out on that one.
Well, Kai's partner Jay has written guides on the best dog booties and the best dog paw balm and waxes. And I actually was just telling my parents today I was going to send them those guides
Yeah.
for their dogs because their pads are like getting a little roughed up
Yeah.
in the winter. Yeah. But so now I'm curious because I know Jay tests a lot of dog gear
Mhm.
for work. And I'm curious, do you guys have like a a dog gear gear closet? Like how much do you have just so much dog gear?
Yes,
What's
I wish
yeah.
we had a dedicated closet. But, living in a 2-bedroom apartment, we have a garage, but like the combination of both of our testing stuff, like all of my outdoor
Mhm.
testing stuff, and then Jay's like dog testing stuff, it gets quite chaotic very quickly. So yeah, we have like 7 backpacks. I'm sure every gear reviewer will tell you they have like 40 rain jackets for no reason.
Listen,
And it's like every brand wants to send rain jackets for some reason. So yeah, Miko also has like 8 jackets.
that's,
Yeah. Miko has a jacket for like 50 to 60 degrees and another one from like 30 to 50 and windy and like all this. But maybe it's snowy, so you got to get the waterproof ones. We have
Yeah, Dashi and Miso, their outdoor gear probably rivals most
yeah,
other outdoorsy people gear.
yeah, their kit is dialed.
Well, yeah, let's talk about your path, your career path to and like what you do now in the outdoor industry. Like
Yeah.
tell us a little about what you do now and how you got here.
Yeah, so right now I am an editor at CNN Underscored. So that's it's CNN's product reviews and recommendation site. So I oversee our outdoors sustainability and pet verticals. And yeah, I've been with CNN Underscored for 6 years now. I actually started as an intern in 2019, and got hired on full time early in 2020, in like January 2020. So I got like a month and a half of in office work before the pandemic, but I was just very thankful that I had a job during that time and like a full time job. Um, so yeah, I was working there, and at first I was sort of like entry level, like staff writer type, and then was starting to move up the, I guess, corporate ladder. Like, was learning more about editing and that sort of stuff, and I wanted to start editing more. And I also wanted to start because when I was a staff writer, I was basically writing like best tested guides on anything and everything we needed. So I wrote about ice cream makers, I wrote about rice cookers, I wrote about suitcases, and my favorite one probably ever is I wrote about bidets. And that's one
Yes.
that like it's kind of related to sustainability and it's not related to outdoors or pets at all. But I'm like, I'm never gonna give this story up because it's just my favorite thing. And Jay probably hates me too because we only have one toilet. So like every other day there's a new bidet. Like, and I'm like, what did you think of this one? It's like, it didn't have a seat warmer, so it was terrible. So that's my favorite one. But uh, I wanted to start writing about things that I was more passionate about, i.e., outdoors and sustainability at first, and then I tagged on pets later on. So I like built out those two, outdoors and sustainability. I built out those two verticals at CNN Underscored over the past few years. So I was working with lots of freelancers and all that sort of stuff to help get those keywords up. So yeah, I mean, it's been really fun because I was sort of able to like create my dream job at CNN. Like I could have totally seen myself writing about other random stuff, but I was at the time like with the manager I had and the size of the team, and like obviously around 2020 the outdoor industry was booming, so like it was it was a good idea then, to like explore it. So I feel like my entire work career has just been like very fortunate coincidences falling into place.
Mm.
Not only the having the internship, but having like the entry level position like available at the end of my internship, so I'm
Mhm.
sitting next to the hiring manager and being like, hey, I just applied and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I just feel very fortunate to be in the position I am in.
Do you think that CNN, like working at something that's as big as CNN, but being in kind of like a smaller division of it, like, does that help you get more reviews? Does it like change the way you look at reviewing versus like if you were at a freelance or a smaller publication? Like, how does that change your approach to that?
Yeah, um I do think working at CNN underscore gives like a different perspective. And I can kind of talk about like how maybe that's shifted over the years. Because at first, when I first came on in 2019, 2020, we were a very, very small team. So I was one of two interns. And then I think there were three people full time on the editorial side. And then jump forward to now, I think we have like around 30.
Oh,
So
well.
Oh, wow.
back when there were three people, there were people like still working on underscored on like different sides of the business, but it was really cool to have a sort of like startup-y feel. Like everyone was real scrappy and like we were just like trying to figure out um, what strategies work best, and like everybody was involved in all those conversations, even me as an intern, which was really cool. And like when I was there, um the now VP Mike Bruno, he was like, okay, our like main strategy has to be these best tested reviews where we test all of the products like side by side. And nowadays that's everybody does that. But
Mhm.
honestly, back in 2019, there were only a few sites doing it. So a lot of sites were just relying on like online reviews and just like researching, which is still great, but like nothing can compare to actually getting all those products in hand and testing them against each other. Uh,
Hmm.
so when he was like, "Okay, this is our main strategy. Here are some like keywords, some story ideas that we want to tackle." One of them was best water bottles, and when we were just like sitting there in the office talking, on my desk was like a hydro flask and then another hydro flask for coffee. So I had a water hydro
Mhm.
flask and a coffee hydro flask, and they were like, "Who wants to write this?" And I was like, I mean, I can write this because I'm like the only person with water bottles or whatever. So I was able to write like one of the first first like best tested guides of CNN underscored, which was really cool. So yeah, it was that startup vibe, but you had the kind of like the security blanket of being in under CNN proper, like
Sure.
Right.
we're getting funding, and sure, if the business doesn't make sense, it doesn't work, it will shutter eventually. But if there's like a vision there that people higher up believe in, then we might get a little bit more leeway if we were doing this by ourselves. So that was created a really fun culture that I think like still thrives today, where everyone on the team like is very scrappy and like is very collaborative and all that sort of stuff. But I will say the other thing about being working at CNN underscored specifically is like the letter CNN carries so much weight. So,
Hmm.
I feel like there's a responsibility to the brand to do like the extra due diligence and all that sort of stuff. Like when people see, even if they don't know underscored specifically, if they see our reviews, they expect a level of journalism and thoroughness and accurate reporting and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
So it's a very high bar and high standard to live up to. But obviously, I love working there because I was a journalism major. I believe in the big J journalism and truth in reporting and all that sort of stuff. So it's always great to like remind myself that I work there and like to help uphold that standard and all that sort of stuff.
So you mentioned like being under the CNN umbrella raises the bar a little bit. How do you feel like that affects how you approach writing a gear review? Like
Yeah,
what do you feel like you would have to do more, or like to reach that like CNN level?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I always think about like a lot of, well, obviously the big easy obvious answer is like the distinction between sponsored stuff and non-sponsored, right? Like
Hmm.
we have sponsored content on CNN underscored, but it's a separate team that works on that. So what I'm talking to is all like the about is all the organic content that like the editorial team produces. um but yeah, what was I gonna say? Sorry. uh,
Well, just that your reviews are kind of on another level compared to somebody like me who's doing a consumer like a user review, but you're doing it from different levels and you're batching different things, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I think one big thing about how we talk about it is like commerce journalism is service journalism at the end of the day, right? Like you're providing a service for your reader. And especially nowadays, it's like the reader spending their money is such an important thing. Like you have to take that so seriously. Like if you
Mm,
recommend a product that isn't good and someone wastes their money on it, like that would be not only a terrible experience for your reader, but like I don't know, it would just make me feel so bad, you know? So I think to bring it to that other level, I think that's the main way of how I think about it is it is service journalism. And instead of, if I was a quote unquote traditional journalist and working on a story, instead of going out and interviewing people and attending court hearings and all that sort of stuff, all that reporting, that's I take that same like way of thinking to testing products, because testing the products is my reporting. So I want
mhm.
to take like what claims are the brands making about the products, and then like we create rubrics to test each product in the same exact way. So if I say that this water bottle insulates better than that one, it's not just saying that like brand X said 12 hours on their website and brand Y
Right.
said 8 hours on the website. Like we actually test that. And then we create a rubric and go through and compare the results of each. But I think it's also important to just live with the product on a day-to-day basis as well. So if it's a water bottle, like actually using that day to day, washing it multiple times, and that gives you more time to just like get comfortable with it. You might come across things that you maybe didn't test specifically for, but you might find annoying, or vice versa, that you might find like even better. And obviously, if it's stuff with outdoor gear, we obviously want to like be hiking in the socks or shoes, or like sleeping in the sleeping bags and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, it's not always feasible to sleep in 20 different sleeping bags when the deadline, like that story would take like 2 years, unless CNN just wants to send me to Alaska for 2 weeks straight, which
Which
hey,
Wait,
CNN, if you're listening.
which I know you are.
well, we
um
we talked last weekend with our guest, and it was about rain jackets in Colorado because it doesn't rain enough, and how many times we've been standing in the shower or under a
Yeah.
sprinkler, just getting soaked by a sprinkler and testing the rain jacket because that's like we want to test it, but you can't always rely on nature. So
yeah,
sometimes you have to test it in a new and unique way.
yeah, yeah, rain jackets in the shower, man, I've done that
Classic.
countless times.
Yeah.
I think every gear tester in Colorado has done the shower
Yeah,
jacket
I
test.
Hmm.
remember
What?
last spring it actually rained, and I don't even think I was testing rain jackets at the time, but I like had the winners still. And I was like, I need to go out and shoot
Get
video
photos.
and take photos in the
Yeah,
actual rain, so the lead image isn't just me in a shower, you know?
Hmm.
exactly. Exactly.
I think you saw all of us gear testers in Colorado on the same three trails and just like
Right.
singing in the rain. We're dancing and spinning, and it was a great day for all of us.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Which I do love asking people this question, people who test outdoor gear. What is the weirdest thing you've done to test gear? Is it a shower test, or are there other weird things you've done?
Shower test is definitely up there. I'm trying to think. I don't know about weirdest, but like I get the most embarrassed when I have to be out and like film stuff
Yes,
because we're doing more
same.
YouTube videos and everything. And even I'll go like
Mm,
in the middle of the day, but living in Boulder, like no one
mm.
has real jobs in Boulder. Everybody's a
True.
everybody's a consultant, whatever that means.
Mhm.
I'm there at 11 a.m. on this trail, and I'm like, there's going to be nobody here. I can like fall down and film and set up my tripod and like take like do 20 takes on this intro monologue that I always mess up and all that sort of stuff. And like people are constantly passing, and I'm like, I
It's
have a
embarrassing
giant
sometimes.
duffel bag of hiking sandals or like some random crap like that. Yeah. There was one time when I was filming a YouTube video for snowboarding mittens, and I convinced my friend to come with me up to Eldora to help me film. And it was on a weekday, but we had a like DSLR, and he would like film me on the ski chair lift. And the first time there was nobody on there, so did a couple of like shots to camera. It was great. And then the second time we hopped on the lift, and I was in my head, I was like, I'll just wait. Like we'll just do it next time we get on a lift when there isn't anybody. And he goes, before I hand him the camera or anything, he goes, hey, Dad, do you mind if we film something real quick? And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like stumbling over my words, like trying to get this like factoid out about these gloves. And like this other guy's like, who the hell are these people? You know?
Mhm.
And I also on that same day, so we were shooting those shots, and I also had like a GoPro on a selfie stick or whatever to film some B-roll. And the first run I do with the stick, I get back to the lift line, and some girl in front of me is like, "So are you famous or something?" And I was like, "Oh my God."
The answer is always yes to that, Kai. Just say yes and let him guess who you are. I would also like to point out that you did not mention that testing 30 bidets was the weirdest thing you've done
I was
as a
wondering.
gear tester. So I guess we're just gonna leave that how it is. The
I will.
bidets was normal. Being in front
How
of
many do
people
you
is
still
weird.
have?
Well,
That's what I want to know.
yeah, I only have one toilet, so there's only one currently on the toilet right now. But I do
But
have,
do
I
you
think,
have them in
yeah, I think I
storage
have
or
like
okay?
4 or 5 in storage right now. Yeah, I
Um,
really need a. This is the reason why I need a mansion, is to have the
Mm,
10 bathrooms so I can efficiently
for all the
test bidet.
bidets.
Yeah. But speaking of bidet testing, maybe not testing in particular, but we did film a TikTok that was really funny. And this was one of my like proudest ideas because they're like, we want to do some like content around bidets, but don't really know how. And my head immediately went to, I bet I can put saran wrap over the toilet bowl and like spread Nutella on the underside of saran wrap and then turn the bidet on, and then you can just see the spray like going back and forth over the Nutella. I was very proud of that. I think that was.
Is that on, is that TikTok on like CNN underscore?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we could look this up
Oh yeah.
and watch. Okay,
And it'll be
that's
playing
amazing.
right now. Sorry, Greg, or whoever edits
Cut to,
yeah.
this is all Greg's responsibility.
And then make it do a 360 and then an explosion.
Kai, it's been great having you. No. Do you find yourself okay? So now you're a celebrity, right? So you're out here, you're doing all of these reviews. Does it? Are you getting more comfortable out in the wild shooting videos and standing in front of people, or do you think that's something you'll never? Most journalists aren't like they don't want to be out there, you know. So like as a journalist, do you feel like that's never going to be comfortable for you?
I don't think it'll ever be 100% comfortable. I do think I'm getting better at it, but I think I'm also getting better at spitting the words out when I need to if I'm like doing talking to camera, which obviously makes it less embarrassing and less
Mm-hmm.
time consuming too. So I'm not doing it for like 2 hours. And I'm also getting better at finding uh, emptier spaces. I'm like, I'll just drive the extra 30 minutes so I don't have to
Mhm.
deal with any public people.
Off the air, we need to all compare notes on our favorite empty
I
spots
was
because we
just
all have
thinking
our
that
spot.
we
And
do.
we will
I
be
would,
gatekeeping.
I made it
Yeah.
my mission early on to find places that I was like that people don't go to during the week or something so that I can take photos shamelessly. But now I'm curious, Greg, because you take lots of videos outdoors for your for Fat Man Little Trail. Do you get like do people see you a lot? Do you how do you navigate that? Do you care?
Yeah. I still try not to shoot in and around people the best I can, but it's more to protect their peace.
Sure.
Like, I don't want to be like the guy that's in the middle, like, oh, everybody wait so I can shoot this video type of thing. Like, I want to get out to my own spot. A lot of people, like, not a lot, but if people recognize me now on the trails and they'll come up and talk and we'll shoot pictures together and stuff like that. And that I'm finally starting to get a little comfortable with, but I'm also kind of shy. So when people do come up to me and they're like, oh, hi, you're, and I'm like, I don't know what to say, But yeah, I definitely, I'm also terrible. Like, I never write anything down. I just kind of, not that I wing it, but a lot of times I wing it. Like, certain videos I will write a script, but 90% of the time I'm just kind of shooting whatever on my mind. So I kind of, as soon as it comes into my head, I shoot and then I just move on. But yeah, I definitely try not to do it around too many people or too popular of an area, just because I don't want to get in somebody's way, mostly.
Yeah.
And I'm just so famous, I just can't deal with things.
It's hard to, it's a tough life being
exactly.
Batman Little Trail on
That
the
is,
trail.
for those who can't see this video, that was sarcasm.
Oh, well, I also am curious because we've talked a lot about the outdoors, and I know you have a lot of outdoorsy hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have, Kai, any indoorsy hobbies as well that we don't know about?
Yeah,
Besides testing bidets.
If indoor climbing doesn't count, I'll say that. Yeah, I mean, it's tough because I feel like living in Colorado, having too many indoor hobbies while like actively enjoying outdoor activities is hard. I would love to play more video games and read more books, and I feel like I do things in spurts outside of climbing. I think climbing has been quite consistent, but like if I get into a running phase, then I'm running like 5 days a week. And then once I burn out on that, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like halfway through this video game. I got to get back into that. And then I'll play that 3 days in a row and then read 2 books the next week and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I have been reading more because a new library opened up in my neighborhood. So that's
nice.
awesome. I love public libraries. They're so great. So been taking advantage of that a little bit and reading more. But yeah, I enjoy cooking and a little bit of baking, but baking is mostly also comes in waves thing. And most of the time it comes around the holidays. But I do enjoy that sort of stuff too.
Do you have your own sourdough starter?
I don't. I never got on the sourdough.
I haven't either.
Me either.
Yeah. I love making sweets because then, you work hard to make the cookie and then you get to eat 24 cookies and it's great.
Rewarded with a cookie.
Yeah.
I work hard to go to the store to buy the cookie that I eat.
Yeah.
So same thing.
Using the cookie, oh my God. It's like burning 500 calories just thinking about it.
Well, then let's talk about climbing a little because you are a big climber.
Yeah.
Do you I know you boulder.
Mm-hmm.
What other like do you rope climb? Do you or like trad climb? Do you ice climb? What does that look like for you?
I do not ice climb. I am intimidated by ice climbing. Similar to like backcountry skiing, I think might be a comparison that a lot of folks will be a little bit more familiar with. I've just seen videos of like the waterfall that someone is ice climbing on just cracks and then you fall. And I like having fun. And I think some people, especially Jay, my partner, might think that I like taking risks and like doing risky things. But I think my risk tolerance, especially like in compared to a lot of folks in the outdoor industry, is pretty low. Like I don't want to ice climb. Trad climbing I've only followed once and it scared me like that was like the most scared I've ever been. I still get scared lead climbing all the time. Like, yeah. Weirdly, I don't get super scared bouldering, but it's just because I like have more time in on that. Objectively, like bouldering is the most dangerous form of climbing. But yeah, I've just been doing it for so long that like I know how to place pads and know how to fall. And yeah, I don't take like unnecessary risks. If the top out move is scary, I'll do a practice fall from it before I'm like fully committing and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Do you is that so you don't ice climb, but do you climb 4 seasons? Are you out there in the winter bouldering or doing any of that, or is it just strictly a summer hobby for you?
No, actually, I've like obviously it really just depends on the moisture and the snow.
Mhm.
So, luckily in Colorado, you can really climb in quite amazing conditions all 4 seasons of the year. So, in the summer, when it's 95 in Boulder, sure, you can still climb in there, climb down there, but it's a pretty gross experience. Like everything's really sweaty and slimy.
Mhm.
And it's funny, actually, I did climb over the summer in Boulder on Flagstaff Mountain quite a bit. And because there's so much there, I was constantly like trying new things, all that sort of stuff. And then I was like, oh, I should try this one V5 that I did in December just real quick. That one was so fun. I feel like repeating it. And it felt impossible to me just because it was
Mhm.
like a hot, sweaty day. So in the summer when it's hot down in Denver and Boulder, it's really easy to go up into the Alpine to like Guanella Pass was my favorite that I went to this past summer and all that sort of stuff. And then in the winter, like now, if there isn't snow on the ground and the rock isn't wet from snow or rain or anything like that, it's actually like the best conditions now because cold and dry is really what you want for climbing,
Nice.
especially bouldering.
Do you climb indoors too at all?
I do. I try not to, but the but it's great. I love indoor climbing. You get to climb a wider variety of things instead of just projecting the one move that you can't do like on the outdoor boulder. Like you more varied climbing. One of the big reasons I still climb indoors is like for the social element because yeah, when I'm
Hmm.
going bouldering, whether it's like logistics or whatever, like oftentimes I'm just going by myself, which and miso,
Yeah.
which is a great time. But yeah, I probably should make more friends at the climbing gym and all that sort of stuff.
Well, you can't bring miso to the climbing gym,
No,
unfortunately. Huh?
yeah, there was a
Which is
gym.
kind of surprising in Colorado.
I
It
know.
is.
Yeah, there was a gym in New York where you could bring dogs to the gym, and I brought her once, and it was great, except I referenced that she's reactive before.
Oh,
Her
yeah.
biggest thing was bikes, and
Mhm.
this gym was in Brooklyn, so she was in the gym perfectly fine, vibed out with like a couple of other dogs. Everybody, she just laid down. Everybody loved her. But the second we went out, the gym was like very close to a street that like everybody bikes on. So luckily we had a car at the time, so we were able to like load her up into the car real quick. But that like 3 minute walk from the gym to the car, I think she saw like 20 bikes. And any progress that she made on like bikes are okay, I don't need to chase them, they don't make me mad, any of that progress that we had been working for like a year to create was like gone in a second.
Oh,
She was like, there, that's too much, I can't handle that
oh.
bikes.
I feel
How
the
did she
same
do?
way. On a hiking trail,
Yeah.
you see too many bikes, and it's just like, yeah, okay, I'm over this. So
And
I can.
that's the thing that like honestly like terrifies me about hiking with miso, because Boulder has a great program for hiking with dogs. They have a voice and sight program where you take a test. You're supposed to be able to like your dog is supposed to have really good recall. So if you call them, they come back immediately. And if you take this test, they'll mail you a tag. Um, and it's like, okay, this dog is basically like off leash certified. There's no one like judging the test. You have to go through a thing, and then it's kind of like your word of honor. But if a ranger sees you and they have the tag and you can't recall your dog, then they can take away your tag and like ban you from getting another tag for a year or two
Mhm.
or something like that. But Miso has great recall, and she loves being off leash. Like she just wants to wander and sniff and all that sort of stuff. So I love having her hiking off leash, but um she hates bikes, right? So it's like we have to find the small Venn diagram of trails that's
Right.
dogs are allowed off leash, but bikes aren't allowed. And surprisingly, I think there's like outside of Chautauqua, like 3 trails in Boulder. Like there's
Right.
actually not that many. And that's like a stressful thing when we're like out traveling, even in Colorado. There's so many mountain towns that have great hiking, but a lot of it's very oriented towards mountain biking, which is
Yeah.
great for them. But just like for me selfishly, like me and Miso, like it's very stressful because especially like if a bike comes around a bend really fast, like she might
Yeah.
just want to like jump up at the bike, so she could get hurt. She's like torpedoing this person biking down the hill at like 40 miles per hour. Like I don't want them to get hurt. But yeah, I always have to do a lot of research when we're like out in the mountains visiting places and like try to find Miso friendly trails, which can be difficult. But nice hack is like Forest Service roads, BLM lands, all that sort of stuff.
Sure.
Do you have to worry about wildlife too with your dogs, like
I think
wildlife encounters?
yeah, I think it's something you always have to worry about. Having good recall is obviously like part of that conversation as well.
Sorry, I think there's like a really loud noise outside my window. Can you guys hear that?
Sounds like, yes, lawnmowers are there getting that last season.
There's not even grass. I live in the city. Okay. I don't know what it is. Sorry, you guys. Okay, anyway.
No worries. Yeah, so I think like wildlife is something you'll always have to worry about. And I don't really think, unless your dog is just kept on leash, I don't think it's something you can be prepared for 100%. Like your dog can have the most perfect recall, but if they see a deer or whatever and they really want to chase it, yeah, it's like, will they listen to you or not? And like that moment is very exciting for the dog. So when I am in places with like lots of moose and stuff, like Indian Peaks, even though like the rules in Indian Peaks are keep your dogs on leash for that reason, right?
Yep.
And I know a lot of people don't follow that rule, and Miso would probably be fine 99% of the time being off leash in Indian Peaks. But like that 1% of the time, if we stumble upon a moose, like I think her enjoyment is like still at 90% of what it would be. So
Right.
I'd rather have her be a tiny bit unsatisfied than like run into a moose or something like that. But we were in Chautauqua once and we were running and she was off leash and she saw deer, and the border collie in her luckily gives me time to react, because she'll see something and then she'll stop and stare. And like if you've ever seen border collies herd sheep, they use their eye a lot. Like they stare and intimidate the sheep, and like they get low and all that sort of stuff. So Miso goes into that mode, and when I can tell like she gets stiff and weird and starts staring, and I'm like, there must be something going on. So like gives me a red flag to like grab her collar real quick and be like, okay, what's going on? And then I can put the leash on her. But yeah, she saw the deer and she like stared at them, but didn't chase them or anything. So that was nice.
Nice. She's herding the deer at this point.
Yeah.
You're gonna come home to a whole 10 deer in your driveway just waiting for you one day. Love it. I think it's time, Becca.
I think it's time for us to move into our next segment, scrambling.
The scrambling. It's scrambling time. We are scrambling with our rapid fire segment. Becca is going to put 3 minutes on the clock. We're going to ask you as many rapid fire questions as we can.
Ooh.
And we're going to find out if you can get the most, where you will win absolutely nothing because we don't have sponsors yet. But if you want a sponsor to give away prizes, feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah. Okay, I have the timer ready.
We have the timer
for as many as possible.
Yeah, you have to beat Mary, was our last guest, Mary Murphy.
Sure.
And so she has set the bar for how many she answered in 3 minutes, and you have to beat that. Do we say how many that is? Do you think?
I don't think so. I say
Okay.
we can tell them at the end.
Yeah. And then do you think we ask this? Well, you asked random questions.
I just make them up as I go. Let's just ask as many as quick as we can.
Okay. We can do that. I might repeat some of the Mary ones because Kai doesn't know them anyway.
It's all good.
Yep. All right. Do you want to go first, Greg?
I will. Give me a countdown to the clock. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Kai, what's better climbing, Utah or Colorado?
Colorado.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Cookies and cream.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
If you could turn into any animal, which would you choose?
Whale shark.
Whale shark?
That was fast.
Well done.
Come on,
I'm
come on.
I'm stalling for you. Road trip or fly?
Road trip. Can bring
Best trail snack?
trail mix.
Solo hike or a group hike?
Solo hike.
Favorite tree?
Aspen.
Overnight or day hike?
Day hike.
Biggest leave no trace pet peeve?
The fucking I don't know if I can curse. The poop
Please
bag
don't, but
outside
keep
of the
going.
trailer that nobody ever comes back to pick up.
The poop bag?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Read a book or watch TV?
I want to say read a book, but I can't. It's
Too much good trash TV.
All right. Best outdoor sound?
The pica.
Ooh, good one.
Favorite hike in Colorado?
The one in Indian Peaks to Lone Eagle Peak. I still need to go over the pass. It was closed this last summer. I booked it too late, but yeah, to Crater Lake and Lone Eagle Peak.
Nice.
Which celebrity would you choose to go on a 3-night backpacking trip with?
Wow, this is so hard. Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei
Shohei
Ohtani.
Ohtani. The right answer was me, but whatever. Favorite state park in Colorado?
Favorite state park?
Yep.
We gave you harder ones now because you were doing too well.
I don't think it's a state park, but can I say Carter Lake Recreation Area? I don't know if
Sure.
it's a state park.
Close enough.
We'll give it to you.
Worst outdoor smell?
The wet wool. Like when you
Oh,
dunk it in a river,
Mhm.
wash it or whatever, and it's stinky from you and also just smells like wool. Yeah.
Correct answer of that one is also me. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Ooh. Dream travel destination?
The first one that comes to mind is the Faroe Islands. I think there's a through hike on the Faroe Islands that I want someone from Treeline to do.
Oh, okay. I'll do it.
If twist my arm.
I guess. I'll assign that to myself.
Did I hear the timer end there, Becca?
Yeah, that was the timer.
Yeah.
That was a lot. It was a lot more than Mary. Sorry, Mary.
Yeah.
You've been dethroned already. Kai, you answered, I believe, 18,
Nice.
and Mary answered 11.
Nice.
So good job.
Leader in
You
the
were fast,
clubhouse
actually.
right
Some
now.
of those were very fast.
I was prepared. The state park one was tough. I wanted to say state forest state park, but I've never been there. I just really
It's
want to
amazing.
go. It's like top of my list to go. But yeah,
We should go. It's an amazing park up in State Forest.
yeah.
Staunton is the right answer. That's my
Ooh.
favorite state park. It's
Golden
beautiful.
Gate Canyon's also pretty great. I like that one.
Golden Gate.
I didn't-
Is El Dorado Canyon a state park?
It is
Yes.
Should have
Yep.
said Eldo.
for climbing, especially for climbing. Yeah. Golden Gate and everything in Golden is too athletic. You guys make me sweat every time I go to Golden or to Boulder. Like, come on. Some of us just like to be outdoors.
Yeah. I literally just from living in Boulder, I feel like there was overarching peer pressure to trail run. It's like you're not allowed to live in Boulder if you don't trail run. So
All your trails have stairs too. Like, what are we doing? Mount Sanitas?
the hardest place to start trail running. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Becca over here, she runs everywhere, so we can't stop her.
Not
but
yet, but soon when my hip is healed.
Bionic Becca getting back onto the trail.
Bionic Becca. I like that.
Yeah.
It's the one and only time I could run further than her. Kai,
That's true.
thank you so much for being on. We really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. This was a blast.
Okay. All right. Well, that's our time for today. Thanks for listening to us ramble. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss our next guest, a melanoma survivor and sunscreen company founder. You can also follow us on Instagram at Scrambling and Rambling Pod. And if you would like to make a graphic art cover for us, which we would love, you can email us at scramblingandramblingpod@gmail.com. Until next time, enjoy your rambles.
And check out CNN underscored at cnn.com/underscored. Or yeah, just check us out too.
And the TikTok.
And the TikTok, yeah. Throw that bidet video some likes.